this is a battle of information. The incumbents do not want us to have it. They're going to wait as long as they can. And then they're going to spill out to us what they want us to hear so they can write the narrative to Washington, D.C. and surrender to the Justice Department.
That's right.
So what we need to do, and the reason I wanted to come here is this. We in North Louisiana are going to have to decide, do we want to be in a congressional district that joins us with Shreveport, which is the one, it's the second one, if you will. Or do we want to be joined into the, if you will, the northern end of Acadiana? You don't have choices. The numbers aren't there. If they squeeze us up, then Fleming in Shreveport, or if you go, well, can we go further north? Can you keep us north? If you push us north, Fleming will go from Shreveport to Calcasieu. He'll go from the northwest corner to the southwest corner. The answer is, when you start looking at masses of people, this is basically the blueprint of a districting plan that is not drawn for incumbents, it's drawn for voters. Either one of them, each of us can make our own decision about whether we think politically we're going to be better off joining Shreveport or into northern Acadiana. My preference is the one that does go north and south. And the reason why is Rodney's district, our northeast district, already goes to West Baton Rouge Parish, which is just, if you can see Iberville down in this corner down here. He's already in Point Coupé and West Baton Rouge now. It changes the least, it maintains the most in the north, and this one also, incidentally, does not put Bustante and Landry against one another. They are another big problem in this redistricting that's going to be occurring behind the scenes that you and I will never hear about, they'll never talk about, and it's probably the second most important issue. And that is, Congressman Bustante lives in Lafayette. Congressman Landry, who just got elected to replace Blonsong for one term, knowing that a district was going to disappear, he lives in St. Martin, next door. It's like having a congressman in Rayville and a congressman in Western Rutland. It takes fine tuning to get that line in between them so they don't have to run against each other. This one that goes north and south does not put Landry and Bustante against each other. It maintains Rodney in his traditional northeast district. He does have a junior, the most senior congressman, Rodney Alexander, would be in the same district with the most junior congressman, Jeff Landry. And the reason I bring this out is I want you to look at one last thing, and that is, because this is going to be the great surrender. And that is under Section 5 of the Voting Rights Act, all states have to submit their materials to the Justice Department for approval. And the standard is called non-retrogression. The concept is, when you redistrict, the state is not required to make it better for minority voters, but they're required to make it no worse. Maintain the status quo in the sense of participation with minority voters. Well, the problem is, if we still had 7 districts, this game wouldn't even be a problem. Populations would have been shifted a little bit, and there would have been one more unit. Instead of doing 755, we might be doing 500 or 550 or 600,000. That last 100,000 is the hill that's too hard to climb when you're trying to build a constitutional minority district. If you look at the last 3 down in the southeast corner, what you can say is this: if they decide, the legislature decides to build a majority-minority district for Congressman Richmond, it will go from Orleans, which, if you see, is right below, is the northeast corner of the blue. It's going to go through St. Charles, it'll go through Assumption, Ascension, up the river through West Baton Rouge and end somewhere in East Baton Rouge. It will go from the south, from the coast to Baton Rouge. I think it will end up an unconstitutional racial gerrymander, but we've got to see it first. The computers will draw it. We will see how good it can be done. If it does that, the interesting part that I can't figure out, and this may not be a problem, you see how the orange district comes down in here to St. Charles, the orange in the north, in the southeast. All right, that's the North Shore. That's St. Tammany. All right, right below it, it says St. Charles. Right in between there is the northern end of Jefferson Parish, where I believe Congressman Steve Scalise lives. If they're going to draw a majority-minority district across the middle of this thing, it's going to be maybe difficult to get Scalise to the North Shore, where his population is, and get that district across there. Maybe it's not a problem. Maybe they know how to, look, they can do anything on a computer. That's going to be a little bit of a racial gerrymander down in there just to start this rascal. This is where we are. Now, one thing I want you to do is this. You won't know how valuable this is until the litigation occurs, because the litigation is going to occur over this districting plan. If you look on the handout that I gave you, these are what I want to say are the properly stated districting principles that voters thrive in. I like competitive districts because my congressman has to listen to his voters. If I've got stacked districts that are overwhelmingly Republican or overwhelmingly Democrat, they don't have to listen, because it's very difficult to mount a Tea Party charge. Now, the Tea Parties and Egypt have made history this year. Okay? I'll bet on our freedom lasting longer than theirs does. So, somebody needs to start a freedom plot for Egypt. And let's just see if we can get a freedom plot that goes a year. And it's going to be, if we think this last week was turmoil, we ain't seen nothing yet. But anyway, if you look at these districting principles, this is what's important. We're going to go to these hearings. There are hearings scheduled in our area. March 1 in the Monroe Civic Center, Alexandria, March 1 at 6 p.m. Ours are 10 a.m. If you ever want to know if they don't want anyone to come, they hold the meeting at 10 a.m. All right, if I want to make sure I get nobody to come, schedule it in the middle of the work day at 10 a.m. and say, oh, would y'all please come and talk to us about voting? No, I'm going to go to work. Well, I'll probably take a couple hours off and speak with them. But what I want you to know, it's 10 a.m. March 1 at the Monroe Civic Center for our area. It is important that when you go there that you tell them what it is that you think is best for voters. Because what they do is they hold these meetings, and then they go to Washington with the application under Section 5, and they say, no one said anything. Our people didn't care. They didn't care that how we drew these things to protect ourselves and not to empower their vote. And so we don't want to let them write the script. And what I've listed here on this front page is really the principles we want them to follow. And the first one is one man, one vote. They're going to do it. The computers do it. What that means is we're going to have 755 and change in each one of these districts.